Hi, Jana and Oliver. This is Mr. Warming at home, but from Grandview Middle School. I'm just going to put together a quick video. I realized when I responded to Ms. Renette that I was speaking about another student, so I apologize about any confusion. But I'm just putting together a quick video to walk you through getting started in Apex. If at any point you have questions, just send me an email, but I'm going to try and cover most of the basics here. So we're going to be using a website called apexvs.com or Apex Learning. It's our online learning suite, and it'll be the same program that you use from when you start with me now through 7th grade. So this class covers all of the material expected in those 3 years, and then a little bit extra. So when you get logged in, it'll be asking for your username and password, and I'll be sending that in an email. But you'll use that to sign in here, and once you've done that, I'll sign in with mine. You'll get a look at what this dashboard looks like. So all of the courses you're going to cover between 5th and 7th grade will be listed here. You'll only see the one that you're currently in. As I add you to new courses, you'll see those pop up. When you click your course, it'll give you the option to open it right here, and that will open something that looks like this. So the first class you're going to start with me is called Math Foundations 2, and it's an accelerated version of our 5th grade curriculum. Some of it will definitely be review, but the beauty of self-paced is those things that are review will go quickly and they won't take as much of your time. So each unit is broken into different lessons. You can see the number of lessons completed here. You can also click on them down here. Unit 1 is integers and operations. And Ms. Renette said that she was sharing that packet with you. There's a big packet. It's about 500 pages long. That will cover all of the lessons from this entire course, from Unit 1 integers all the way down to 15 data analysis and probability. All of those lessons, it seems like a lot. There are a few that I skip, 12 and 13, that aren't necessary, but you'll be able to tell which units those are because they're not listed in your Apex course. Once you get into Apex and you find your first lesson, you'll get something that looks like this. So each lesson is numbered 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, and it'll start with an overview. The overview is really just a quick little paragraph explaining what this chapter is all about. And most of what you're going to do is navigating using these buttons at the bottom. So once you finish reading it, you click continue, and you'll see this is what an average lesson will look like. Okay, so the online learning suite has the overview, and then it has something called a study, a checkup, and a quiz. Pretty much every lesson is going to be set up that same way. If there's something else in there, it's most likely something that we'll skip. So the study for our first lesson is going to be 10 to 15 slides of instruction. This is the self-paced part. It's student-driven, so you're going to be going through these things on your own, reading the section and doing some practice work, and it will kind of guide you through that material. There's some interactive lessons where you'll be dragging and dropping, typing in numbers, and it'll ask you to do some calculations. And once you've done those, you can keep moving through. But as you go through this lesson, you're going to be asked to work on the packet. And in that packet, it will have page numbers that say lesson 1.1.1 study, and then it will have a question that matches up with the slide. Now, not every slide has a question, but when it does, I'd like you to do those in your packet. Okay, so as we move through the lesson, we'll jump to the end of the lesson. You'll get to the final slide where it'll ask if you've completed the lesson and you're comfortable moving on, at which point, if you'd like to, you can open the study guide. And on the last page of the lesson, when you open that study guide, it will show you the answers. So if you get stuck on a question, you can refer to this. It is open for you. You can show the answers, but again, the benefit to you is going through this material on your own, making sure you find those answers before using the answer key. But I do want to make sure you have it if you need it, because it is self-driven. So you can go through and check your work. This is what your worksheets will look like for lesson 1. When you're finished with that, you go and do a checkup. The checkup is in your packet as well. The checkup is a set of practice questions that you can do on your own. And again, you'll be able to open the blank version on the first page. On the second page, you'll also have the answer key. Now, these, again, are not graded because this is, you can imagine this as your homework. This is your practice work that you would go through as a class. You're just doing it on your own. So you have to show the answers option here as well. Now, all of that prepares you, if you say, yes, I'm ready, all of that prepares you for the quiz. And the quiz doesn't have an answer key. The quiz will be graded automatically. Most often it'll be about 10 questions. And with each one, it'll ask you a question. You type in your answer. Do your best to make sure. Sometimes it gets a little tricky. It'll say it wants the answer a certain way. It's important, because it's computer graded, that you do make sure it's typed in the right way. Once you have your answer submitted, what's the opposite of negative 44? I'll tell you whether it's right or wrong, and you can move on to the next question. When you finish that entire test, I'm going to go back, you'll be able to move on to the next lesson. And you can't move on until you've reached a 80% or better as a minimum. If you would like to retake the test, you have two chances. After that, you do need to communicate with me, because I'll open the test if you have a grade that was not passing. So we'll have a quick conversation, and then I'll give you a third opportunity to take that same quiz. All right, so once you've gone through and completed the quiz, you'll be able to move on to lesson 1.2. And as you go through, you'll be completing lesson after lesson. When you get to the end, there's one difference. The last lesson will include what's called a CST. Now, don't worry about the TST. That's something that we were doing in person, but we'll be using just the CST for now. And that is a computer-scored test, and that is for the entire lesson or the entire unit, covering lessons 1.1 to 1.9. As you finish that, then you'll be able to move on to Unit 2. Now, like I said, the beauty of this is you will have the ability to move through things at your own pace, and I think that that's a benefit to a lot of students. You will have a pacing chart, and I'll be providing that to you as soon as I talk to Ms. Frenette about what we'd like to accomplish before the end of the year. Obviously, that's kind of fluid, so I'm going to talk to her and come up with your pacing chart. The pacing chart, it shows you which lessons, and they're numbered, like I said, 1.1.1 or 1.9.1 are due on which days. And that's something I'll design based off of your needs. I'm going to stop the recording there because I think I've covered most of the basics. But if you have questions, I'll be checking in with you regularly. And I think Ms. Frenette will be still your primary source of information. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions, especially related to Apex. Have a great weekend, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you.